That's sweet.
Synapses are firing.
It's down there.
Remember the rain video? It wasn't too long ago with
Well,
Hi. And she works with Remy now. Yeah, but other than that, yeah, we're all after school. Like, I'm not.
Taught my son how to say boom shakalaka. Thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And it's like, Dad, and I'm like, what's up, buddy? What's up? And he's like, boom shakalaka. I'm like, what? What did you just say? He's like, boom shakalaka. I'm like, where did you learn that? But I already knew the answer. You know, I turned around and I see Grandpa Ken behind him just giggling like a 5-year-old. My dad was silly, he was funny, and he was smart, and he was kind. He was an incredible father. And I'll miss him. I'll miss watching him be a grandpa. I'll miss his big hugs. I'll miss his life lessons. And I'm heartbroken. But I'm really thankful. I'm thankful he was my dad. I'm thankful he gave me a blueprint of being a good dad. And I know he'll always be with me. I love you all. Thank you again.
Hi everyone, as mentioned, I'm Jessica. Kim is my dad. I wanted to start by saying thank you all so much for being here. My dad was always at his happiest when he was with his people, and to be able to see all his people here together, I know he's smiling down on us. My dad dedicated his life to learning, loving, and listening. He was the most kind, funny, empathetic, and smart person I have ever known. As a father, he was incredibly involved. He helped coach and volunteer for my brother when he played basketball, and for me as well when I played soccer, softball, dance, and then eventually even joined the band PTA when I was in high school. My dad was the funniest guy too. His wit and sarcasm were unmatched. He would banter with my friends and joke with strangers out in public. He had the epitome of dad jokes. My dad was also so incredibly supportive of everything I've ever done. Every time I changed my major or took a break from school, he was 100% in support of me. and what I wanted to do was most important. He taught me to be confident and sweet, and he also taught me how to give incredible hugs, and I'm truly going to miss those hugs and the way he would pop my back every single time I hug him. By far, though, my favorite thing my dad taught me and showed me was that every emotion is okay to feel, even the bad ones. Sadness was nothing to ignore or move away from as fast as possible. It was okay and necessary to sit with uncomfortable emotions. My dad always made me feel emotionally safe enough to express whatever I wanted and needed. And for that, I'm incredibly grateful, because it has made me an emotionally aware and intelligent person. On the day of my college graduation last month, I was an emotional wreck all day. My journey throughout college was hard to say the least, but I had been holding it together pretty well throughout the ceremony. However, the moment I stepped outside and I saw my dad, we both instantly started to cry. He gave me the best hug of my life, and I told him I didn't think I could do it. He pulled back to look at me, and through tears he said, "I always knew you could." That was the last day I saw my dad, and it will always be the most special and bittersweet day of my life. Sorry, 1 second. I could stand here and tell story after story about my dad and his kind heart and his goofy demeanor. I could talk all day about our inside jokes, our secret handshake, our multiple hour-long conversations that jump from topic to topic, but I ultimately want to say that my dad had such a passion for living. He loved family, friends, work, traveling, exploring. He loved to be alive. I urge you all to be like my dad. Find beauty and joy in the small things. Make everyone around you feel seen. Hug your loved ones. Sit with your emotions. I'm going to miss my dad for the rest of my life, but I will carry him with me wherever I go. I'd like to end my speech now with a poem by Maya Angelou called "When Great Trees Fall." Rocks on distant hills shudder, lions hunker down in tall grasses, and even elephants lumber after safety. When great trees fall in forests, small things recoil into silence, their senses eroded beyond fear. When great souls die, the air around us becomes light, rare, sterile. We breathe briefly. Our eyes briefly see with a hurtful clarity. Our memory, suddenly sharpened, examines, gnaws on kind words unsaid, promised walks never taken. Great souls die, and our reality bound to them takes leave of us. Our souls, dependent upon their nurture, now shrink, wisen. Our minds, formed and informed by their radiance, fall away. We are not so much maddened as reduced to the unutterable ignorance of dark, cold caves. And when great souls die, after a period peace blooms, slowly and always irregularly. Spaces fill with a kind of soothing electric vibration. Our senses restored, never to be the same, whisper to us, they existed, we can be and be better, for they existed. Thank you.
I am Ken's daughter-in-law. Ken was a phenomenal grandfather. Nobody loved my children the way that he loved them. When we first found out we were pregnant with Mateo, Jason and I, we were not married. We were living in Sandy's house, and it was really, really scary. And I thought, oh my God, Ken's gonna hate me. Sandy's gonna hate me. My parents are gonna be so pissed off. I'm only 22, like what am I gonna do? And the first thing Ken did was he invited me to come visit him in Seattle. And I met Kimmy and Kimmy's family, and he said to me, no matter what happens between you and Jason, you're always gonna be my daughter. And you're always gonna be my favorite daughter-in-law. And that was like a little inside joke that we had, where every time he saw me, he's like, Jessica's my favorite daughter, and you're my favorite daughter-in-law. And I was like, Ken, I'm literally your only daughter-in-law. There's no more. I'm the only one. And yeah, he's gonna be really missed. Thank you. I love you.
I kept thinking about what I was going to write today, and anybody that knows Ken knows he was a man of many, many words. So I'm going to try to keep this short. I found a quote last week that he wrote and saved. It read, "What we do for ourselves dies with us." What we do for others and the world remains and is immortal. When I think about what he has done for others and looking across this room full of people who loved him so much, even those who met him just once or twice, I couldn't speak to some of the things Ken taught me, lessons he taught me. Love deeply and with your whole heart. Truly listen with your ears, your eyes, and your body. Give the benefit of the doubt. Always assume best intent and seek to understand. Be thoughtful, considerate, kind, compassionate, and more than anything, be genuine. And that he was. Love each other, nothing else matters. Express your love every day with your words and your actions. Hold your loved ones close, always. And never miss an opportunity to offer support to others. Ken was the greatest man I've ever known. And I would tell him he's the kind of man every man should be. I cannot imagine my life without him. And I will miss him every day for the rest of my life. I'm also so grateful I was loved by someone and we shared our lives together. Ken would say, Kim, I will walk beside you every day. When you need me to, I will take your hand and walk in front of you. And when you need support, I will walk behind you and hold you up for all my days. And he did.
Anybody else?
So I met Ken in 1986. We were working at a movie theater in Anchorage, Alaska. And I was putting up a movie poster in one of the cases, and he came up to me and he's like, "You must have a really tall boyfriend." And I was kind of like, and then I looked at him closer. He was wearing these bright yellow nylon short shorts with white knee socks and a tank top. And if you know Ken, he was hairy, so it was just all out there. But that was the beginning. We were friends for a long time. Then we were more than friends. And then we had these two amazing children together. We might not have done a whole lot of things right in our marriage, but the thing that we did do right was instill our children with love and empathy and kindness and a care for other people, and it shows in the people that they are now. Jessica has very close friends that mean a lot to her. Jason is raising these beautiful boys and has this loving and supportive wife. And Jason said it right. Ken made a blueprint for what it was like for Jason to be a successful dad and to be there for his kids. And they're doing an amazing job. And the thing that sucks about all of this is just that they won't ever get to be with their dad again. And that makes me saddest. But I love you both. I love all of you. And your dad and I loved you very much. You came from a place of deep love for both of us.
A couple years ago to come visit, and This is my husband. And anyway, he's like, you don't have the Alaska Airline app on your phone? I am not a techie, right? So I hand him my phone. I'm like, here, you put it on. And he goes, this is crap. I said, well, then you fix it.
So I read some Bible verses that, and forgive me if it's not your thing, but just listen and think it can. It's real short. And so it's a collection of verses called The Fruit of the Spirit. And it shares how you should live your life. As I read the 9 characteristics, think about Ken and how many of these characteristics he had. It reads as follows. Romans 5:22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forgiveness, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Personally, I believe Ken showed all 9 of those characteristics. I fall short, very short of that. And I'm grateful my brother was the best. Okay, so it's been incredibly difficult to control my thoughts without extreme emotion due to the nature of his cause of death. For a couple weeks, I was actually afraid to go to sleep. A younger brother dying with a heart attack, and we're not sure what caused it. We're getting more news. Thank you, Kim. I couldn't close my eyes at night. What was I next? Would I leave my 13-year-old daughters alone? Kid was better. He was younger. He was better shape. I'm the short, squatty one. You know, he was a man. Kid, you're supposed to be the one up here, not me. I'm the oldest of your dad's 5 children, and the only one that had health issues since birth. In the early days of Ken's passing, I pleaded with God to resurrect him and take me instead. Ken, I'm counting on you. I was counting on you to comfort my wife and children. Never in a million years did I expect this day to come. Rosie, I'm going to channel your speaker's voice wherever you are for a second. So I know you can hear me. I see you nodding. Ken, I tried my best to be like you. I saw the anguish in your fiance's face as my whole family hugged her. I watched your nieces cry with your father and stepmom. I held your father. His tears dropped on my shoulder. I heard your sister Julie hysterically crying in the background on the phone call. I didn't really get to see Ken much. After age 11, I had moved out of the house. I missed his time in Willows, Anchorage, Massachusetts, Mississippi, and Battleground. I missed 40 years of his life. I'm so glad we moved to Bellingham, and I've had these 4 years with him to get to know him as a man, as a leader that he is. How in the world did this rascal turn into such an amazing human being? I finally got a clue. My dad doesn't even realize he gave me this clue. But he told me that Ken, I think it was right after high school, maybe just going to college, took a psychology class. Those of you that work with him, you guys know him. Did you hear that? Makes sense. And all you guys that play basketball with Jason, you guys got it too. I wish he was here to confirm that was the catalyst of his change. But I believe with his ultimate people-pleaser heart, he began to understand himself and compassion for others, like his grandma Clara did for him. As for his work life, I believe he was just starting to run as a champion. He was so proud of what he did at Alaska Airlines. Randomly, he would share business acronyms that I learned 30 plus years ago. He was really incredibly intelligent. I'd call him up with some brilliant business idea. Within 12 seconds, he'd say, already been done. I gotta stop it. It has not. It's a great idea. Then he'd direct me to a website, and it had. He convinced me to make Alaska my primary airline instead of using the bargain airlines. Our family's cheap. Okay, yes, you guys can clap now. Okay, Alaska Airlines people, yeah. He actually coached me on staying hydrated, buying noise-canceling headphones, and sitting with more legroom. His advice has helped me hit the road running and flying. And my productivity has increased 10 to 20% because of your dad. He made my life better. I feel like a king when I fly with your airline. And it's hard now to fly it because I sit there and I would often brag with whoever I'd run into. Hey, my brother works for you guys. My brother works for you guys. he helps, it's like, and then they started telling me problems, so I got some things to share with you guys. Some of the systems, things are kind of wacky, or wonky, I guess. Is that cool still, or, I don't know, girl? Oh, my girls are going to do the audio. I'm so glad the Alaska Airlines people are here. You guys lost something great. We all did. And you guys showed the ultimate respect. Read their board over here. It's precious. It made me cry. As for family, where do I begin? Take a look at his LinkedIn page. On his hobbies, it starts with, first it was Habitat for Humanity. That fits in fine. And then he was the vice president of the parent-teacher organization. He was an assistant director of Crossroads of Life Church to be an assistant director of Youth Basketball League. Side note, Ken didn't like sports. Ken didn't play sports. Ken wasn't good at sports. But you were, and he wanted to be with you, and he did whatever he could for both of you. Let's see, sorry. He also became a board member of Battleground Athletics. On top of that, a man also with zero ability to play a musical instrument became president. Sorry, it's on the next page, but it's something with the high school, Jessica's high school band. And that's just what Ken did. So it's Battleground High School Band Boosters to support Jessica. My younger brother, without his knowledge, mentored me as being a father. That's why I put mentor on my name tag, because my baby brother mentored his older brother. Not right, but he was good. Jason and Jessica, your dad was the best uncle to my girls. Christmas Day, he'd randomly show up, just like St. Nicholas, with gifts in hand for the girls. And not just gifts, but really thoughtful gifts. It was in the middle of COVID. We had so little contact with the outside world. All of a sudden, the knock on the door. Really, kid? Wow. Drive an hour and a half to come see us. Again, to Jason and Jessica, yes, your dad is gone far too soon for any of us, but please continue to honor your dad the rest of your life. He poured so much of his character and love into you. If you ask yourself, WWDD, what would Dad do? You will thrive in life. Kim, there you are. Get your tissue. You inspired my brother. I did not think he could be better than what I'd already seen. I can't even imagine what is in that treasure chest of dreams the two of you were up to. When the time is right, open that treasure chest and dream again.
Julie, wherever you are, that was what I was going to say about compliments. That he would turn, look at you, and say, thank you, and not throw it back in your face because it was hard for him to take. So Ken's father, Bob, and I are so grateful that you have all come. And we feel a little bit like the blind man and the elephant. We knew how wonderful Ken was in our world. In the weeks since Ken died, we have seen how wonderful Ken was in all worlds. The reach and the quality of the love that he inspired and that he returned have filled us with comfort. And that's all I want to say.
I am so glad that I came today because I see him, his son, his brother, his quirky little smile, and the giggle that he did. You guys all have it. And it was so refreshing to see and know that he's still around. Maybe not physically, but in all of you. And I'm super thankful for that, so thank you for having us here. As far as the story goes, you guys covered it so well. He was a great person, and he was, at Alaska, more than anything, a problem solver. He was always trying to solve everyone's problems and issues work-related, not personal. And there are just times where simply that doesn't work. There is a time where you can't solve something, and we were in that situation at one time. And he looked at me and he said, Edina, what are we going to do? And I said, we're going to suck it up like buttercup. And that little giggle that you have, his brother, and the quirky little smile and evilness in there came out. And I think from that moment, he took that with him, because I did see a change in him in a good way, that sometimes it's okay to fail, and we pick it up and we move on. And right now, if he's up there, which I'm sure he is, looking down at me, he's probably telling me to suck it up like buttercup. Don't be a wuss. And he's right. And the irony that is, this is a lot harder to do. So I'm going to try my best, but it's very difficult. We all miss him very much at Alaska Airlines. And we all struggle. And we'll try to move forward, but it's going to be hard without him. So again, thank you for having us, and I'm so grateful to have met him.
Oliver, I've known Jason for over 15 years now. We all played basketball together in high school, and there's a lot of stories I think we could all kind of share about Ken and the Moore family in general. I actually want to start out with a story about Jess, though, because I teach high school math, and as I was getting done and finished with my degree, Ken called me up one day, and I was like, who is this number? Who is this guy? But then he was like, it's Ken. And I was like, okay, we're good. He explained that Jess, sorry, I'm going to throw you under the bus here, struggling a little bit in math at the time, and math was hard, so Ken had me over to come tutor her. And I thought I was just doing it for free, and I was getting the experience, and I was getting to hang out at their house and eat their food like I had for most of my childhood growing up. And then once we finished the tutoring and Jess passed, I think, Ken wrote me an exorbitant check, and I think it showed two things. First, that he was willing to support me in what I wanted to do. And Ken was a very cerebral man, and I think that him and I clicked in that regard a lot of the time, and that's, I think, a lot of the ways that he connected with both of you because of your vast intelligence. And it also showed that he was willing to do anything for his kids. It didn't matter how much he had to write on that check. Whatever it was, he was going to support Jess, and he was going to make it happen. So that was illuminating to me. And then a couple years before that, Jason and I were living together in college. And I will think about this every single time I walk into my kitchen. Ken came to visit us one time, and he looked at our stove, and it was messy. It was very, very messy. And he just lit into us about how many crumbs were on the stove, and how that could be a danger, and how it wasn't becoming of young men, and all these things. And now every time I walk by my stove, and especially in the past couple of weeks, that thing's getting wiped out very, very, very quickly, and cleaned very, very quickly, because he just had that influence on people. He made you want to be better. He made you want to be the best version of yourself that you could possibly be, and he was a fantastic man. Jason, I love you immensely. Your father was a fantastic role model to you, and you are an excellent, excellent father. And his legacy lives on, that invisible thread that connects us all. And I love you. I love both of you. If you need anything, we got you. You're the best.
I just want to say, I don't have anything planned, but I just want to talk about Ken. He was amazing. Sorry, I was gonna cry. He treated me like I was one of his. He was always there for me, no matter what, whether it was helping us move out of our apartment and also yelling at us about the cleanliness of our apartment. I guess the trend continues. There was one time we were all so deathly sick and our apartment was so nasty, and he came in and he was wearing gloves and a mask, and he brought Costco size of everything, including some granola bars that when I joked to Jess about that I wanted some more, he bought me more. And he cleaned our whole apartment, and then when we got better, he yelled at us about, he was like, why did you let it like this? Also, when he yelled at us when he helped us move out of our first apartment together, and we were like, oh, we're packed, we're clean, don't worry about it. And he showed up and he was like, you sure? He had to help us patch up walls and paint and pack and clean, and he did it all for us and helped us move into our new apartment. And you know, I have many stories to say, many fun ones. Like when Jess and I were in high school and I spent the night at her house and we went to Safeway to get snacks. And you were saying this around the time and he picked it up from you, but I said something, I don't remember what it was, but he looked at me and he goes, sounds fake, but okay. And I don't know, he, like I said, he was always there for me, especially after my dad passed away. And something he said to me that I want to say to both Jason and Jess is he told me during that time that I was loved. So I just want to tell you both, you are loved. And just from knowing Jess since we were like 7, I just want to say I see you, your dad, and you all the time. And he will continue to live up through you because he was amazing and you're amazing. And you'll just be missed. That's all I gotta say.
Anybody else like
Julie, and we are family friends with Kim and Karen, and Ken and Aaron, and I have not gotten the years and years that many of you have had with Ken, but I got a few years of some of the most genuine friendship that I've known in my life. That man had the ability to see you and hear you, and I'm sorry. He's a man who would put his phone down and he'd turn and he'd give you his undivided attention, and he didn't get distracted, and he didn't think there was other things around that were more important. It was 100% his gift that he gave to each of us. I think he was true and authentic, and I have a really hard time with compliments. And one of the things that Ken taught me is when somebody gives you a genuine compliment, to be able to turn and look at them in the eye and thank them and take it in. And so I'm gonna do that, and I want to say thank you, Ken, for your friendship and for being the human that you were to everyone in this room, for loving everybody here the way that you did, for giving your undivided, for revisiting things weeks later and asking about them, and being a true gift, I think, when it's really, really rare to know that kind of person. Thanks, bud.
I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the last times I interacted with Ken. It was Jess's graduation party. And I've been friends with Jess since, it's debatable, late high school, early college. And so I've known Ken for a few years, and we kind of had this joke. Ken, as a few people have mentioned, was very bantery, very funny, and that's kind of how I enjoy interacting with people as well. So together we were, we always joke that we had beef. We had fake beef all the time. So anytime we were talking, it was always strictly sarcasm. But at that graduation party, Jess had mentioned, while we were unpacking her apartment, we came across a cribbage board. And she told me how she would play that game with her dad a lot, and how special that was to her, and
And so, I guess something had been mentioned about the cribbage board, and Ken had said something along the lines of, "Oh, I'll teach him at the gathering." And I was like, "Okay, well, what is cribbage?" And it's like, "Oh, it's a math game." Okay. So I was like, "Oh, okay, oh yeah, awesome." So at that gathering, something, I don't know what overcame me. I'm not a math person, I'm a hairstylist. So I went and I was like, "I heard you're going to teach me cribbage." And he goes, "Really?" I was like, "What? I thought it was your idea." Yeah. So he goes, "Okay." So we set up a table, and it's me and Ken, and we're on a team, and we're playing against Jess and Jerica, our friend. And he's being very patient with me because I cannot do even simple math in my head. And he's trying to show me all of the patterns. He's letting me try to figure it out, and then he goes, you know, along the lines he'll go, "So do you know why you're not seeing a pattern there?" I'm like, "No." "There is one. There is one." I'm like, "Okay." Thank you. And he really was. I kind of know some cribbage now. And after, you know, everyone was playing outside, and he took the time to show me how to do that so that maybe I could play some cribbage with Jess. And it was a very sweet moment. And yeah, afterwards we were like, "Okay, we've been playing this for a while now, so we should probably go rejoin people." At a certain point. I think we lost. My bad. But afterwards, I pulled him aside, and I was like, "Thank you for showing me that. It means a lot that you did that." And he thought I was joking. So he goes, "Are you laughing at me?" And I was like, No, I'm serious. Thank you for taking the time to show me that. I really do appreciate it." And he goes, "Thank you." So now I have to learn cribbage, unfortunately. I have to get really good at it because he gave me the gift of something that was special between him and Jess, and Jess is very special to me. She's one of my best friends. And I am going to take that along with me, that moment and that skill and everything that I've learned from him and the acceptance I've gotten from the family that I've met and the love that I've been surrounded with through your family, through Jess. I'm very grateful for the time that I was able to have with your dad, and he was an amazing man. I have never met somebody like him, so he will be dearly missed.
And how did you have the good fortune to become parking attendants here?
Yep, my man right here.
Yeah.
I'm inside man, I gotta say.
He's gonna be a parking attendant when he grows up. It's been his dream. I want to help him reach that dream.
And who gave you this job today, or did you earn it?
Nick.
Yeah.
Gave
Nick?
it to us.
Yeah.
After we were informed.
Nick, was there
supervisor.
some special quality these boys had that made them
The vests fit.
Yeah.
the best fit? Okay.
Don't worry. If I ever try to get a new job, I'll use you as like my person. Like this guy was a great.
Glowing recommendation.
Okay.
And are you getting any money for this, or is this just your contribution?
It's we're getting experience.
Yeah, this is getting our feet in the door, you know.
Okay. Well, thank you.